Well, hello and welcome to this week's episode called Let's Leave the Crap in 2018. So, for those of you who've been following my work, you know that this is an annual ritual that I do, and it's basically in place of New Year's resolutions because I think that those generally suck and are very depressing. And usually, when I used to do them, I don't know, by February 1st, I was already feeling like a failure in the new year because I would make those resolutions too big, too much, too hard, going from not working out to running a triathlon, and that doesn't work. I also, creating resolutions, when you think about it, it doesn't give you any space to really process the year that just happened. So, in this ritual, because I'm a psychotherapist, we are going to create space to understand the difficult situations, to celebrate the great stuff, and to basically consciously and intentionally leave any of the crap you don't want in last year. So don't worry, there's a download that goes along with this episode. So you'll have the whole ritual. I usually do it. I do it beforehand. I hand it out to the people, whoever I'm going to be with on New Year's. And then together we actually burn, because one of the lists you burn, that's the crap list that you're leaving, and we would go outside and burn it together. And there's something about doing something ritualistically. You know, I'm a girl who loves a ritual. Who doesn't? That you're really putting your stake in the ground, as my friend Patricia Moreno would say. You're like putting the universe on notice. You're putting your life on notice that you will not be welcoming in any more of the stuff that was painful or crappy or whatever. So let me describe how we do it. We're going to start with a bunch of lists. The first list is a list of crap you're leaving in 2018. So what will that consist of? That consists of people, places, things, experiences, feelings, anything that you do not want to drag into 2019 with you is going to go on that list. So that could be situations that you're in right now. It could be less, you could want to leave stress in 2018. So I want you to really think about, and in the ritual download, you'll see I've created the actual lists for you, all the different areas of your life, how the feelings that you want to get rid of, all of that. So you don't have to really take notes right now, but I want you to start thinking about what are the things that you're pretty much done with in 2018. I've learned so much. Just when I think that I couldn't possibly learn any more hard lessons in life, you know what? Lucky for us, this shit never ends. This is just an ongoing journey of higher education, apparently. There hasn't been 1 year ever in my life that I haven't been able to fully do this ritual and have a long list of things that I'm leaving in the previous year. So I always see it as a very hopeful and exciting time. So it's not just what we're leaving. So that's the one list. You're going to write all of that. It's what we gained from the crap. And this list I find with a lot of my clients and the groups that I run, it can be a little bit more challenging than either the what you're creating list or the crap you're leaving list. Those lists are usually come pretty naturally. The gems from the crap, that list is probably the most important list. Why do you think that is? Because if you don't learn from your behavioral choices from the previous year, what do you think you'll do? You will repeat them. I will repeat them. Right? We repeat what we do not repair, but we also repeat what we do not become fully aware of. It's like if one of your psychological defense mechanisms is denial or repression, where you just sort of push down the bad stuff like it's okay, it's over now, then it's hard to learn from those experiences because there's sort of like a bypassing action that can happen where we just don't want to deal with it anymore. So we're like, okay, it was fine. And if any of you fall into the category of either being hyper positive or being, getting into the spiritual bypass, I've actually done videos on both of those things Definitely the hyperpositivity. The bypass, I'm not sure, but yeah, I think I did. The reality, anyway, the point is that you can't go around the middle of this process, which is learning. So if you don't focus your attention on, if you don't look at what was in it for you, and there are a few requirements for you to understand the gems from the crap. So you are required to give up the victim position. This doesn't mean you weren't victimized, and I'm not saying that, but meaning you can't just have a crappy situation and say, but it was that other person, right? It was 50% that other person and 50% you, right? Even when terrible things happen, right? I had my young niece passed about 2 years ago. She was 18, almost 19, and it was just tragic for my family, just devastating. And even in that scenario, if I were being honest, I was able to see the gems from that terrible, terrible situation. My family got closer together. We all got together to support my sister, who was the mom of my niece who died. So I can still see how we grew and changed even through a terrible, horrible experience. So I share that with you because sometimes there's this limiting belief that if I acknowledge what I got out of that experience or what I learned about myself, because that's really what we're talking about, that I somehow brought it on myself, I somehow wanted it to happen or made it happen or manifested it in some way. So none of that is true. Of course, I would give back any moment of anything that I think I gained, quote unquote, any gem to change that circumstance and not have my niece die, right? I would change that. I would give back anything I learned. But that's not the way life is. And since life goes on, no matter what we've experienced, if we're still breathing and basically have our cognitive abilities, life is going on. And so our job, I believe it is my mandate, to continue to evolve. And in my estimation, real evolution is becoming my most evolved self, meaning knowing myself honestly and truly, my authentic self, being truthful with myself, owning my behaviors, changing behaviors that I don't like or that don't work for me. That's what evolution is. I don't see it as, learning so much that I'm sitting on the top of a hill or meditating for 40 days in a row. I don't think that. I think that it's self-evolution. It's the never-ending process of becoming the best version of ourselves, and which then makes us the best partner, the best mothers, the best bosses, the best workers, the best friends, right? Because when we really know ourselves, when we're willing to do the hard work, to change, to look at that crappy situation, it can be the terrible breakup where you felt very wronged, maybe you were betrayed fully, that could have happened. But there's still something. There is still a gem in that experience. Can you go back and look at that experience and say, what did I learn? Sometimes around my niece's death, I just learned about how resilient the human spirit is, how we can still go on through things that you think you will not live through, and yet you do. And you continue to love and you continue to have joy. And those things that at the time, in the middle of a horrible tragedy, it seems like ever having joy again would be wrong. But that's not the way we're wired as humans. We do love again. We do laugh again. But a big part of that was a long way around the barn to get back to, that the second list probably the most crucial list, is the gems from the crap. So I have a whole space where you can write it out. You can print out this little PDF that I created and write down what were the gems. Because so much of that, and the reason I want you to do it, A, is for your own evolution, sure, but it's also who wants to repeat crappy situations. And I'm not talking about things we really don't have control over, like natural disasters or death and dying, but relationships and relationship patterns and attraction patterns and all of those things. So much of this, those of you who are in the Real Love Revolution with me, because it's Real Love Revolution season, we're at full steam ahead. And don't forget, we have our More Love Meditation experience, because God, who needs another challenge, not me, coming up in January. And you can sign up. Don't worry, the sign up will be attached to this blog / podcast / wherever you're looking or listening to it. So yes, in love, we have a tendency to repeat. So part of it is really looking at what you learned about yourself so that you cannot repeat. Because who the hell wants to repeat? I don't. And then our third list is basically what we're creating. So in that list, it's what you want to create in 2019. But with every part of that creation, you're also going to list the way that you want to feel. Right? So much of the time, if you look at Danielle Laporte's work, where she talks about creating goals with soul, and she talks about her desire map is all about identifying how you want to feel. It's so brilliant. If you haven't done it, wow, you should. Because when you can understand what Danielle has coined as your core desired feelings, it has you look at everything in your life from the point of view of how do I want to feel, and will this thing that I'm about to do, this choice I'm about to make, is it going to actually create one of these important feelings? And if the answer is no, then you might want to rethink it. So having a high intelligence about your own feeling state, how you want to feel, will help you create that over the next year. So with every part of your creation list, which is also on the PDF, you're going to be adding the feeling state of how it is that you want to feel. So then what do? What's the ritual part? Well, you can do it alone, or as I told you at the top of this, I do it with a group of people. I work on my thing the week before, and then when I get together for New Year's, whoever I'm with, they know I'm going to ask them to do this burn ritual with me because I love a ritual. And we take the crap list, the feelings, situations, people, even experiences, and we together burn them. So you can either, depends on who you're with. If I'm with like my family, my kids or grandkids, then I don't have anybody witness each other just because it's too much. If you're with close friends, or if you're with one other person, or if you're with your partner, then you could share the crap that you're leaving, and you don't have to. It doesn't need to be witnessed because you know it. But if you want to, you can. And then you burn them. We usually do it somewhere safe, obviously. I had a client a couple of years ago do it in their apartment in New York City and light off their fire alarm, and their super came. It was a whole thing. So, hey, if you live in a apartment, like maybe do it in your sink really quickly and write on a very small piece of paper, or wait until you're outside somewhere safe. Safety first, people, safety first. So after you burn it, you have a little affirmation where you say, I'm so happy and grateful now that I am free. And then we conjure that feeling of really being free of those experiences, of those feelings, of those things that we don't want. That feeling of liberation, my number one core desired feeling is freedom. And it feels so good. So we visualize that we're basically releasing all of that crap back into universal energy. Mama Earth is taking it for us. Thank you. We appreciate it. And it creates space for you to actually have a different experience in the next 12 months. So everything I said pretty much in this episode is going to also be in the download, so you will have the little ritual kit so you know exactly what it is that you're doing. I'm so interested to hear about your experience with this ritual if you've never done it before, if you have done it before. So please share with me wherever you are listening or watching this. Please put a comment, because you know I answer them all myself, and I would love to witness what you guys are going through. Also, please sign up for our More Love Meditation Experience. 10 new beautiful meditations based on exactly all of you who answered my poll of what were your biggest challenges in love. Thank you, because I base these gorgeous meditations that will raise your awareness on your feedback. I really appreciate you giving it to me. And at the last day of the challenge, day 10, we actually move into the More Love Meditation Live. So it's More Love Live, I guess we're calling that piece of it, where it's going to be live training, where I'm going to be giving you some tools and strategies to up the love in your life. Whether it's attracting love because you're single, or whether it is creating better, higher level love in the relationship you're in, or whether it's deciding that perhaps the relationship you're in might not be the right one for you. That is what I'm going to be covering in the training, which is at the end of the free More Love experience. So I can't wait to see you guys there. Please click the link and join me. If you liked this episode, if it spoke to you, please share it on your social media platforms, or with anyone in your family or your friends. Get together in groups and do this as a ritual. It doesn't have to be done at New Year's. You can do it at any time during the year. I like to do it around the holidays, though. It's kind of a bit of a reset. I want to say thank you for watching, for listening, and for sharing. I hope you have an amazing week, and if you celebrate Christmas, an amazing Christmas. And I will see you guys on the interweb. And as always, take care of you.